Very good morning to all of you. Assistant Professor in SIRT Bhopal in Computer Science Department. So today I have discussed about the various concepts and fundamentals of software engineering. Now, before discussing about the software engineering, we have to need to understand what is software. Software is nothing but a collection of programs which are written in different types of programming languages. When we develop any software, so we have to take care of this. We have requires all the things which are required for the software. So what is the need of software engineering? So there are certain points why we use software engineering. The first one is to manage large software. When we develop any software, so the main thing is that we have to maintain that particular software. So there are various techniques which are used for managing that particular software. So this is the basic requirement. The second one is scalability. Scalability means whenever the users require certain updation in that particular software, so we have to update our particular software. So our particular software is scalable because every time there are certain changes are required and updation is required for a software. So this is the requirement of any software. Now the third one is cost management. The cost management means whenever we have developed any software, so we have to manage that particular software in a various manner like cost effect. Because if our software is costly and we don't have techniques for managing according to the cost for the software, so we don't manage our particular software. So cost is also a various concept. Now the fourth one is to manage the dynamic nature of the software. There are two types of nature of any software. The first one is static and the second one is dynamic nature. In static nature, if our particular software is developed, so there are no any techniques that so we can update our software. But in dynamic nature, we can update our particular software according to the software need because there are various things which are required for the that particular software because every time the needs and uses of the software is changes, so we have to require the dynamic nature of that particular software. Now the fifth one is for better quality management. If we are having a certain techniques like various testing techniques, maintenance techniques for a software, so we can easily maintain our software in a quality manner. So these are the various things which are required for the software engineering. Now, the software engineering is the application of a systematic discipline, quantifiable approach to the development, operation, and maintenance of the software. Now, software product. So in case of software engineering, there are certain things which are required for a software product. The first one is requirement uh, and system analysis, system design, maintenance, updates, deployment, testing, and coding and design. The first one is requirements. Whenever we want to make any software, so we have to require to collect all the data related with that particular software. If we are not having that particular data, so we can't make a particular software. So this is the basic thing. So we have to collect all the data related with the software. The second one is system analysis. Whenever the collection is complete, so we have to analyze that particular data. So this is the system analysis. because we have a large and insufficient data. So we have to analyze and categorize that particular data, and we have to collect only useful data. So this is a system analysis. Now the third one is system design. System design means whenever analysis is done, we have to design that particular software in a different ways. So software engineering provide a various types of designing techniques like EI diagram, use case diagrams, state transition diagrams, and many more. Now the next one is maintenance. Whenever we have to develop any software, so there we have to require a maintenance for a software, because without maintaining our software is not useful. Now the next one is updates. Every time a system is requires a many more updates for the software, so we have to need various types of techniques for updation of a software. Now the next one is deployment. Deployment is also known as implementation. Whenever we have to collect all the data and design that particular code, so we have to implement all these things in a various manner. So we have to require code and implementation. In implementation, we just write a program and algorithm for that particular software, and we have to just compile and run this program. Now the next one is testing. In testing, we have to just check is our software is workable or not. So there are various techniques like alpha testing, beta testing, black box testing, and unit testing. So by using these testing techniques, we can just check our software is proper work or not. Now the next one is code design. After testing, if we are having required certain updations, so we can implement, we can just update our code according to the user need. Now the software, we can say the software engineering is basically provide the knowledge, tools and methods for the defining software requirements, because nowadays various companies develop the various kinds of software according to the user needs. So we have to require all these updation according to the need. The next one is performing software design. Whenever we have collect all the software, we have to design that particular software. Third one is software construction. Software construction means to develop the software. Next one is software testing. Software testing means after developing all the software, we can just check it is work or not. Next one is software maintenance. In this, we can just maintain our task. And the sixth one is software project management. In this, we also manage our that particular software project. Now, the software development activities. Software development always include the following activities like analysis, design, construction, and testing. We have already discussed all these things. Now the software requirements. The software requirements define the functionality of the system, and this only gives the answer. So question, what, now and how, because it defines these constraints based on that particular system. So we can say the software requirements basically define the functionality of that particular software. So in terms of software engineering, we can just divide the requirements into two basic parts. The first one is functional requirements and the second one is non-functional requirements. Now the requirement analysis. The requirement analysis starts from a vision about the system. The customer don't know what they need. So every time we have to need certain updation in our particular software. Now the next one is prototyping. The prototyping is also used especially for the user interface. So prototype, we can also say the prototype is a dummy model. Whenever we want to make any software, we have to just design a dummy model for the particular customer. Now, SRS, the SRS stand for Software Requirement Specification. It is the formal requirement documents in describing details. The first one is functional requirements. In this, there are certain examples like business process, actors, and use case diagram, state transition diagrams, and a data flow diagram. So these are the basically based on the functional requirements. And the second one is non-functional requirements. It is just measure in based on the performance, scalability, maintainability. So these are the non-functional requirements. Now, software architecture and software design. Software design, it is a technical description about how the system implement the requirements. And the system architecture describe how the system will be decomposed into subsystems, because every time whenever we have to develop any software, so we have to decompose into two basic subsystems, and responsibility of each modules, interaction between modules, how they work, how it which technology is used, which platform is used. So these are the basic requirement of system architecture. Now, okay, thank you.